Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take these huge, complex topics and, really just distill them down into what you actually need to know.
Yeah, we cut through the noise.
We do. So let's start today with maybe a strange thought experiment. Imagine you're building a house,
Okay.
and instead of using solid, sturdy foundation bricks, you accidentally, for some reason, decide to use fragile, crumbly sidewalk chalk.
That house is not going to stand for very long.
Not at all. And that's pretty much what we've been doing to our own bodies, to our own cells, with what is probably the #1 most dangerous fat in the world.
And we were told it was the healthy one. That's the crazy part. Our mission today is really to unpack that. We're going to figure out why certain oils are basically just inviting chaos into your cells.
And why the advice you've been hearing for decades about healthy fats might be completely, totally inverted.
Flipped on its head.
Okay, so let's start with a really foundational idea here. When you talk about fats in your body, stability is everything.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need a chemistry degree, just this one concept. Oxygen is hungry. It's always looking to react with things. And some fats are just walking buffets for it.
That's the perfect way to frame it. I mean, the whole difference between a good fat and a bad fat really boils down to something called double bonds.
Right, the weak spots.
The weak spots, exactly. The fewer double bonds a fat has, the more stable it is, the less likely it is to get, attacked by that hungry oxygen.
Which is oxidation.
Which is oxidation or, going rancid.
So let's use this great analogy of building a wall. We can start at the top with the strongest foundation. Saturated fats.
These are your solid bricks. They have 0 double bonds, none. They're completely saturated with hydrogen atoms, which makes them incredibly stable.
So they don't react with oxygen easily.
Not at all, and that's why they're solid at room temperature. Think butter, lard, beef fat, tallow. These are the strong structural supports for your cell walls.
Okay, solid bricks. Then we move a little down the stability scale to monounsaturated fats.
Right. These are your mostly solid walls. Mono means one, so they have just one double bond.
One weak brick.
One single weak brick. So they're still mostly supportive, mostly healthy, but they have that one little fragile spot. Good olive oil, avocado oil, they're about 75% monounsaturated.
Far more stable than what's coming next,
Right.
but not quite the fortress that saturated fat is.
Exactly. And now we get to the danger zone.
This is where we leave structural integrity completely behind. Polyunsaturated fats, or PUFAs.
This is the fragile wall. Poly means many. So these fats have lots and lots of double bonds, lots of weak spots.
Which makes them super unstable.
Highly unstable, very flexible, and just extremely vulnerable to oxygen. This is that huge category of industrial seed oils, corn, soy, sunflower, canola, all of them. This wall has so many fragile bricks, it's just waiting to crumble.
But hold on. For 50 years we were told the opposite? We were told saturated fat, the solid bricks, was the problem.
Oh, yeah. Public enemy #1.
It was artery clogging. How can something that's so structurally sound for our cells be the villain, while the super fragile stuff was the hero?
It is you could call it the great scientific and marketing inversion of the last century. Saturated fats were villainized, mostly because the food industry wanted to push cheap, processed, low-fat foods.
And they just pointed at butter and said, that's the problem.
That's the problem. Meanwhile, the highly unstable, oxygen-hungry PUFAs were praised. They were the hero that was going to save our health.
And
now, looking at the evidence, the whole story is flipped. Saturated fats are structurally sound. They're fine to eat. It was the unstable, unsaturated fats that were at the root cause of this explosion of inflammatory diseases, including heart disease.
They were the bad guys hiding in plain sight the whole time.
The whole time.
And it wasn't just the fats, was it? It's almost comical how much of our basic dietary advice got inverted. I mean, take cholesterol. And the egg.
Oh, the poor egg.
The egg was going to kill you.
Right, because of dietary cholesterol. But we know now that eating eggs actually helps your body regulate its own cholesterol. It raises the good HDL. It can even make the bad LDL safer.
We blame the messenger. What about grains? You can still walk down the cereal aisle and see a box of pure sugar that says heart healthy on it.
It's absurd. You strip out all the fiber, all the nutrients. It just turns to sugar in your body. And a lot of them have gluten and other things that can just wreck your gut. It's unbelievable.
Then there's red meat. For years, it got lumped in with like hot dogs and processed junk.
That distinction is so critical. Red meat itself has been unfairly demonized. We're now seeing that for things like autoimmune issues and gut inflammation, high-quality red meat is one of the most nutrient-dense, healing foods you can eat.
Even salt. We were told to just cut all the salt if you have high blood pressure.
Yeah, and for 90% of cases, the cause isn't even related to salt. It's more likely a potassium or a vitamin D deficiency. In fact, cutting salt too much can actually raise your stress hormones, like cortisol.
The inversion is it's staggering. But okay, let's get back to those unstable fats. We know they're fragile. When do they turn truly destructive?
The second you add heat.
Ah.
That's the real problem. It's not just eating them cold. These oils are often heated twice. First, during that violent industrial refining process.
Right, to make them shelf stable.
And then again, when we cook with them at home, even light breaks them down.
And when these fragile oils break down under all that stress, they create this sort of chemical shrapnel.
That is the perfect term for it. The byproduct is a chemical called an aldehyde. And these things are highly reactive, highly destructive. They go into your body and they destroy DNA, they destroy proteins, and they physically lodge themselves into the membranes surrounding our cells.
So they literally stick to our cells.
They do. And here's the critical part. Aldehydes specifically destroy the insulin receptor.
That's the little doorway that lets sugar into the cell.
It's the communication switch. When it gets damaged by aldehydes, the cell becomes stiff, it gets fragile, and it can't hear the signal from insulin anymore. That right there is a direct root cause of insulin resistance, prediabetes, and the diabetes epidemic.
And this whole destructive process is fueled by an industrial system that's just designed for cheapness and shelf life.
100%. I mean, think about the deception. About a quarter of all our calories now come from these oils. They're ground up, washed with chemical solvents, bleached, and then blasted with high heat to deodorize them.
So they can sit in a clear plastic bottle under fluorescent lights for a year.
Exactly. They are already full of this molecular shrapnel when you buy them. Then you take them home and heat them again. It's a double dose of damage.
Okay, let's rank the absolute worst of the worst then. The true villains.
All right. At the bottom, or I guess the top of the worst list, you've got your partially hydrogenated fats, the classic trans fat.
Purely synthetic.
Poison. Avoid at all costs. Then you have just general hydrogenated fat. Super processed with high heat, hydrogen gas, metal. Also terrible. But if you're looking for the undisputed #1 champion of danger,
Where are the sidewalk chalk walls just completely disintegrating?
it is the polyunsaturated fatty acids, the PUFAs, that are used for deep frying in fast food restaurants over and over again.
And this is where it gets truly horrifying. Restaurants reuse that frying oil. They just top it off. And there is absolute no regulation on how many times they can reuse it.
None. So that oil just gets superheated, abused, and it accumulates massive, and I mean massive amounts of those toxic aldehydes. Every single batch of fries just makes it worse.
And you eat food that's been bathed in it, and those aldehydes lodge right into your cell membranes.
We'll lock in.
And they don't leave. This is the chilling part. It can take up to 600 days to eliminate them from your body.
600 days.
We talk about a 1-week detox. This is almost 2 years for your body to clean up the damage from a single meal.
It completely changes how you should view that meal, doesn't it? It's not just calories. It's a long-term deposit of cellular poison.
So let's just nail down the enemy list. The refined PUFAs to avoid at all costs.
Okay, the big ones are soy oil, corn oil, sunflower, safflower, cottonseed oil, which is literally a byproduct of the cotton industry.
Gross.
Canola oil, grapeseed, rice bran, and any refined peanut oil.
And what about the healthy oil trap? People buy avocado oil or olive oil thinking they're safe.
And they can be, but they become dangerous when you buy them refined or you heat them. The refining process strips out all the protective stuff like vitamin E and chlorophyll.
The plant's natural antioxidants.
Exactly. Once those are gone, the fat is defenseless. The second you put it in a hot pan, it starts creating those same toxic aldehydes.
So this is about the quality and processing. Let's pivot to the heroes then. What should we actually be using?
It's about focusing on quality. Even with good fats, there's a difference between conventional grain-fed and, pasture-raised or grass-fed. So you want things like pasture-raised lard, grass-fed tallow, virgin or cold-pressed coconut oil, and grass-fed butter. The animal's diet matters.
And for those monounsaturated oils, the rule is simple. keep them cold.
Absolutely. Cold pressed extra virgin olive oil is amazing. It's full of phytonutrients. Same with cold pressed avocado oil. It has lutein, which is great for your eyes and brain.
But they are salad dressings. They are
Yes.
finishing oils. You never, ever use them for high heat frying.
Never. For frying, you need one of those stable saturated fats we mentioned. Tallow, lard, coconut oil.
Got it. And what about for like a brain boost? Is fish oil still the answer?
It's good, but cod liver oil is actually superior. Its ratio of DHA to EPA more closely matches what your brain, your retina, and your immune system actually need. And again, cold extraction preserves the good stuff.
So to bring it all home, the big takeaway is that the villain was never the stable traditional fat your great-grandma used.
Never. The villain was chemical instability, made 1,000 times worse by industrial processing and heat. The factory turns food into a toxic, shelf-stable component that directly damages our cells.
And when you realize that these unstable oils make up a quarter of the average person's calories, you're literally replacing your body's bricks with chalk. No wonder our metabolic health is in crisis.
It's the only logical outcome.
We found out that the most dangerous fat in the world isn't butter. It's that heavily reused, factory-processed fryer oil that takes nearly 2 years to detox from your body.
2 years.
So the next time you look at fried food, are you tasting dinner or are you accumulating something that won't fully leave your body until 600 sunrises later? Something to chew on. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.